Hello, hello, Bears. Welcome to this week's edition of the Gersnet Weekly Podcast and what's been an absolutely fantastic day at Ibrox Park. Rangers 2, Celtic 0, got it right up them for the start. It's episode 45 of the Gersnet Podcast, and I'm your host, Colin Armstrong. We would encourage you to subscribe to the podcast, and also you can comment tonight. It's interactive. We've got the comment section open on YouTube. So give us your thoughts, let us know what you're thinking. We'll try and give you a wee shout out. If you don't already, we would ask you to subscribe to the the podcast, and share it on social media. And even though we're live tonight, I have to remind you all that it will be available to download and stream on a variety of platforms, including Acast, iTunes, YouTube, Castbox, Stitcher, and now Spotify. While we have you, I would also ask if you would give us a little vote in the British Podcast Awards. The deadline is next Saturday, the 18th of May. You can do that at www.britishpodcastawards.com. So anyway, straight into it, because after all, it was a great day at Ibrox today. So let's get into the guest introductions, and we've got Pete. How are you, Pete? Pete? Anyone?
Hello, sorry. I was sitting talking to myself for a minute there.
Aye. Oh, you're still in Australia, Pete, because there was a bit of a time delay there.
No, I'm doing fine. Enjoying the sun, same as you were today, I believe, at Ibrox.
Yeah, it was quite nice today, yeah. The weather was one of a few things that were pretty good about today. Did you watch the game, I take it?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, it was... yeah, well, I'm not going to miss that one, am I?
No, you're not.
The top point of the season, Celtic at Ibrox, isn't it?
Yeah. It was a good one. Enjoyed it. A wee bit nervous at times through it. I was a wee bit frustrated a couple of things, but overall, I actually felt we could have given them a proper pump in the day, but it was not to be.
I felt like I was watching a movie. It was like a blue movie, 50 Shades of Grey and Green.
Oh dear.
Full of control and total denomination.
We need to put you back to Australia, Pete, with that pattern, honestly, God. 50 Shades of Green and Grey. Oh dear. Oh well, anyway.
Yeah, it's full of domination, wasn't it?
Aye, we totally dominated. It was. Is this a dominatrix gag you're putting in as well then, aye? That's my first thought. And also joining us tonight, we've got David Tomlinson. How are you, David?
You've got that wrong as well, Colin.
Oh no, it's David Fraser. You're David Tomlinson.
I'm not bad, Colin. I'm basking in the glory of skint shins here from celebrating the goals.
I have to say, see, when the second one went in the day, there's a guy who sits behind me, Ross. He sometimes listens in. So if you're listening in, Ross, how you doing? He went off. He's not. Honest to God, he literally landed on top of me. You know what I mean? I've never seen him celebrate like that for a long time. So I can imagine that his shins and elbows and knees will be a fair bit battered as well, because he went ballistic when that second goal went in. So did you enjoy today, David?
I did indeed. It was enjoyable, as you say, Colin. A very good performance. Like you, I think we missed an opportunity to stick about 4 or 5 past them. But I'll take a victory.
Oh, you always take a victory. Always. Yeah, absolutely. But I actually felt going into the game, I said this on the preview show, that I felt there was a wee possibility we could get a 3 or 4 nothing. And I just think we're a wee bit more, I don't know, precision in some of the stuff that we were doing today. We could have got that. But hey, I'll take 2-0 every day of the week. I'll take it every single day of the week. Happy with that. Anyway, let's get on to it. Let's do the analysis. Can we just talk about sports scene and how sick they were? No. We'll come to that later. Right, Pete, coming to you first. We spoke on Thursday in the preview show about the sort of lineup. I put my expected lineup today on Twitter before the game. I went with Andy Halliday at left back, but pretty much the same team. Obviously, Wes was having to come in for McGregor. Was the lineup pretty much what you were expecting?
Yeah, well, the only change I thought it might have been was he brought in Morelos, but No, but I really pretty expected that one. There was, yeah. We've won. What's that now? 5. We had won 5 in a row. That's now 6 in a row. So it's difficult to change a winning team, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that's why Morelos didn't start as well. You know, I mean, the amount of goals we've scored since he's been out, and we've only conceded 1. So yeah, I did think there was a wee chance for Halliday. I think these are his type of games, and I think he sort of set the tone in the last game at Ibrox. You know,
But I
but
think Arfield seems to play a lot happier when Defoe's next to him.
yeah, aye,
And I think I think the Celtic players didn't really know what to do with Defoe either. I think if you had put on Morelos, he looks for the defenders, whereas Defoe tries to get away from the defenders, and I think that makes a big difference as well today.
I think Morelos he's so combative as well. You know, he's always, you know, he's quite physical. He's getting involved all the time, and I think sometimes it just centres around him. Whereas, you know, I think Defoe offers something different. I think again we spoke about this on Thursday that Arfield, you know, he's doing a slightly different thing now, and I think he looks a better player for it. But we'll come on to that later on through our analysis. David, coming to you. Obviously, last week there was issue with McGregor stupidly sent off. You know, so we knew then there was some talk on sort of social media at the time that we could just appeal it, but you know, if you go down that road and the appeal is unsuccessful, which it probably would have been, it would have been available for today, but you know, he might have got a heavier suspension. So I think Rangers basically decided we'll just take the hit. So we knew, you know, pretty much for last Sunday that we were going into this game with Wes, and there was, you know, given that he was in goals for a couple of those doings that we took, you know, you do kind of wonder, but nothing to worry about. I don't think he'll need to wash his kit after that today. You know, one save and it was in the 85th minute or something like that.
Aye, he didn't do a lot wrong. I don't think over the course of his Rangers career, Wes Fotheringham's let Rangers down. To be fair, you know, there's certain criticism you could legitimately level at him. You know, people often cite the fact he's not that clever. Shots from distance. Some people say he takes too long when he's distributing the ball. Others say he doesn't really command his box. But as you say, I mean, he only that shot to save from, I think it was Oliver Burke. And other than that, there was maybe a couple of times in the first half where he dwelt on the ball a wee bit too long for many people's liking. But no, other than that, I think Wes, you know, as you say, he didn't have a hell of a lot to do.
Sorry, I'm talking here without unmuting my mic. I know what you're going on about with some of the pass backs that he took, but a couple of them I thought didn't help him. I wouldn't say they were hospital balls, but you know, I mean, they didn't help him in that respect, and he had to sort of take a touch and allow the players to close them down. I'm with you. I don't think he's done anything massively wrong in his Rangers career. The shots for distance thing, I think that is an issue, and it has been a sort of reoccurring issue when he's been in goal for us. But I mean, but today he literally had nothing to do. You know, as I said, I don't think they'll need to wash his kit. It'll be fresh as a daisy because I don't recall up until that shot from Ollie Burke late on in the game. I don't recall him having to do anything.
Let's face it, though, Colin. That shot from Burke, it should have been a goal. I mean, he totally just miskicked it. I mean, it was a good save, but it should have been right in the corner. He shouldn't have even looked near it.
No, it's a poor effort, but you know, he can only save what's put in front of him, so to speak. You know what I mean? So, aye, as I said, I was slightly fearful with Wes and goals, but you know, none to worry about.
You could have had Ross McCrory in today, and he would have still done well.
He's got 100% shutout record. Do you know what I mean? We'll take Ross McCrory every day of the week. Pete, coming to you, the first goal, Tav, 2 minutes in, best possible start. It's kind of one of those ones. I seen Scott Bain getting a bit of stick for it, but I think it's one of those ones that, Tav's hit it so well. I think Bain is anticipating a touch, so he's just holding his position, waiting for the touch so he can go one way. And then when no one gets a touch, it's too late for him to react, and it just goes straight in.
Well, it's just the quality of the ball. I mean, it was really fantastic. It was just perfect height. Somebody could have got a touch in it on the way in, and that's why Bain didn't go for it, because it was at a height that people could have just got a wee flick on it, and he just waited and waited and waited, as you say, and yeah, he wasn't covering the corner, so the ball. I was going to say crept in the corner, but it didn't really creep in. It went in with quite a velocity. So no, the quality of the cross, that's where that one came from, and absolutely brilliant. And if you think, I don't know, but Tavernier must have scored more goals than the Celtic's main strikers, I think, this year.
Yeah, and I mean, we have to put it into some sort of context. He has had a lot of penalties, but even still, his record from penalties is pretty impressive. Yeah, and he's the level of his assists as well is pretty impressive. So yeah, but I think what you're saying there is right. It's one of those ones. Bain, he's, as I said, I saw him taking some stick. I think it was Chris Boyd was sort of having a go at him in the analysis. I kind of thought it's one of those ones. There wasn't much he could really do about it. David, after that, early goal, I thought, going back to what we were talking about earlier on, when we could have possibly gave them a bit of a do in the day. When you get the early goal, you think, oh, that's us. Great foundation, push on, see where we end up. But I kind of felt after that, Celtic had a wee sort of 20, 25 minute phase where they seemed to have a lot of the ball, and Hayes certainly had a lot of it on the left-hand side. Never really done much with it. It was all in front of Rangers, but that's probably the part of the game I started to get a bit itchy. I started to think that Celtic were maybe threatening to come back into it. How did you feel at that particular time in the game?
I can see where you're coming from. I think it could well be down to the tactics, Colin. I think they were comfortable letting the likes of Johnny Hayes have the ball wide. Obviously, that midfield's pretty narrow, so they do tend to get exposed in the wider areas. But I think it was deliberate. Having said that, though, they certainly grew into the game. In the last with maybe the exception of the last 5 minutes of the first half, and the middle period of the half, they grew in confidence. But I think they didn't do a heck of a lot with the ball. So I could understand why you might be getting a wee bit edgy, but I didn't really feel under any real threat. As we've discussed there, it wasn't as if Fothering was dealing with a lot of shots. The back line wasn't getting turned. Celtic weren't getting in behind us. So I felt pretty comfortable. I thought the midfield three were pretty good. They seemed to they nullified any space in between the lines for Tom Rogic to drop into, where he's caused us a lot of damage in previous games, and that didn't seem to feature very much as the game wore on. So I wasn't too edgy.
I would have to say there was times a day. I think it was fairly late on in the game before I realised Rogic was actually playing. You know what I mean? It was one of the games. And it was actually someone in the subway coming home. I was getting the subway back to Buchanan Street, that somebody said that Sinclair had come on. I was like, Sinclair come on? I had no idea he'd come on. So that shows you the level of impact that he had in the game, because I was not aware that he was even on the park. Pete, about halfway through the first half, Defoe had a penalty claim. Having a wee look in social media at the time, I claimed for it, but I thought it looked kind of soft. Seen a few things saying it was a bit of a dive. So what did you think? Was it a penalty? Was it a dive, or was it neither?
Well, at the time, I was shouting and bawling that it was a penalty and calling the ref all the names under the sun. But when I seen the replay of it, I think Aya put his body in front of it, and Defoe realised he wasn't going to get round him, so he sort of a dive. No, he didn't dive on the ground, but he dived into Aya, and Nah, I don't think it was a penalty. I don't think it was a dive for it to give a card. But I think he did sort of a dive into Ayer. But certainly wasn't a penalty.
I thought it kind of semi-resembled one that Scott Brown done at Easter Road a couple of weeks ago. What about you, David? Did you think that was a penalty? Did you think it was a dive?
I don't think it was a penalty at the time. I thought it was where I sat. I thought it was maybe marginally, if it was just inside the box, it wasn't conclusive from my aspect to the stadium. So I'm repeating that one. It didn't look at a nailed on penalty, but I just think it was a nothing kind of decision really.
So you didn't think it was a dive?
Well, it didn't look to be a dive. It's happening that quickly in some respects when you're paying attention. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. You could be looking at other players in the pitch, but out of the corner of my eye, what I did see of it, it didn't look to be a blatant dive either. I've not seen it back in the TV since I've got back home, so I need to sit on the fence on that one, I'm afraid, mate.
I came back and I've sort of went through some of the stuff on Sky first, and then I watched a bit of Sports Scene. I would say I think he's been a wee bit lucky not getting the yellow. I thought it resembled one that Scott Brown done at Easter Road about 2 or 3 weeks ago, where he sees a player coming, and as Pete says, he dives into the player to try and make it look like he's been fouled. But the one thing again that's quite interesting is no one talked about that as a dive with the Scott Brown one 2 or 3 weeks ago, but they were all over it the day. Sports Scene and the usual ones were all over it the day. So it's that sort of consistency and how it's been and how it's been reported. But yeah, I thought he tried his arm a wee bit. Going into the sort of later stages of the second half, guys. Arfield had a chance just before half time. Kind of took a touch around the defender, quite unlucky. But for the second game in a row at Ibrox, Lustig sort of thought, no, I've had enough of this. I'm out. So Pete, where's his Polish hat now?
Yeah, well, that's his second game. I don't really know the story about this Polish hat. I don't know what that was.
When they won the league last season, when they beat us 5-0 to win the league, in one of the goal celebrations, he stole a policeman's hat and stuck it on.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. Well, that's the second game in a row. He's sort of crapped out it, isn't it? He seems to. I don't think Ryan Kent's his favourite player, put it that way.
No. I don't think Kent had the best of games today, actually. Compared to his game, certainly at Ibrox in December, I thought he played very well that day. At Celtic Park, I thought he was outstanding. I thought he was a wee bit quieter today, but obviously Lustig still didn't fancy it very much.
But as soon as he gets the ball, you can just see the whole Celtic defence sort of stiffen up because they hate players running at them, obviously. And Lustig as well, he's not the fastest player in the world. And he was even shouting at, I think it was Johnson, to come back and cover him, to give him cover. So he wasn't alone with him. But even it was him that pulled down Kent for the goal, wasn't it? Right away.
Yeah. Straight away, within the first minute, he's not enjoying it, and you have to think to yourself how many medals that guy's won. You know what I mean?
From the first minute, I think he's been crapping all week.
He's obviously not been looking forward to it. You know what I mean? And first opportunity he got, he went down. Oh, my leg's hurting. That's me. I'm off. So, fairly typical of him when it comes to games at Ibrox these days. Right, guys, into the second half, probably the big talking point outside the result, obviously, the incident between Flanagan and Brown. David, I'll come to you in this one. Did you think it was a red card?
I don't think it's a red card. I've watching it in real time at the game. You obviously the corner didn't get taken, or it just been taken, and then the referee blows up. Yellow cards given. Obviously Brown hit the deck. You can't really see. As I say, I'm up at the kind of Colin Govan corner end of the stadium, so it's quite a distance away from the incident itself. I have, however, looked at it on social media in a super slow-mo video on YouTube for different angles, and It's a forearm smash. Is Brown going down trying to get the player sent off? I would say yes. Is John Flanagan leaving himself open to possibly being getting into trouble with Kevin Clancy? Definitely. But I think, without sounding as if I'm fudging it, I would say a yellow card was the correct decision. So I don't know what everybody else thinks, but I've had the misfortune the way back to hear Radio Scotland. I got a lift home from one of my brother's mates, and he'd on Radio Scotland, and Tom English, Billy Dodds, Richard Gordon, they were doing their damnedest to get him cited. Tom English was saying it was a definite red card, and the way it sounded as though he'd deliberately, properly elbowed Scott Brown, and then you get back and you actually see the replays back. It's nothing of the sort. So, without going on and on about it, I would say it's a yellow card.
Well, I mean, I've looked at it a couple of times since I came back. As I said, I went through some of the highlights on Sky and then watched a wee bit of sports scene. I think it's a red all day long, right? However, there was there not a similar incident? Was it against Kilmarnock with the Kilmarnock goalkeeper against Kamara?
Aye.
And he got sent off, but that got rescinded, did it not?
It did, yeah.
So with it, and again, this sort of consistency thing on the night, the night Kamara went down, it's at the same end of the ground. So I'm like you, I'm towards the Copeland Road end of the ground. So it's at the other end. When Scott Brown hit the deck today, I didn't see anything. I was like, what's happened there? The guy behind me, because Clancy pulled out the yellow card, he was getting at he must be given a penalty then if he's booked him. I was like, well, he can't give a penalty because the ball wasn't in play. So, I mean, this sort of thing that it was a penalty, that's a nonsense. The ball wasn't in play.
Yeah.
However, I would like to see if Flanagan is cited by the compliance officer, which I would suggest would happen, given our record of citing Rangers players. I would be interested. I'd be interested to see what happened, because that incident with Kilmarnock, that was rescinded.
It's only the only thing I could think of is whether it's deemed to be retrospectively violent conduct. That's the only, as far as I'm, and unless my knowledge of the rules and the protocols are incorrect, the only way, if the referee sees the incident and deals with it on the pitch, the only way the compliance officer can become retrospectively involved is whether it's violent conduct or not. So it's in his report, if he deems that to be violent conduct retrospectively, presumably having viewed a replay via Sky or whoever's providing the pictures, then that may well lead to a citation by the compliance officer. But I don't know. But do you honestly think that's violent conduct? You know, I think he's kind of blocking.
Well, I thought the goalkeeper, the incident with Kamara and the Kelly goalkeeper, I thought that was a sending off.
Okay.
And I was a wee bit surprised when that was rescinded. I thought that was a sending off today, but I'll be interested to see what happens based on, because we do have, a precedence. There's a similar case happened not that long ago, where the person who had flung his arm across someone's face, they got the red card rescinded. So it'd be interesting to see where this goes from here on in, I think, because, as I said, there's a precedent there. So
fair enough. I agree with you. What you say makes total sense. It's up round about somebody's chest or neck. Obviously, Brown made the most of it. I can see why you would say it was a red.
What about you, Pete? Did you think it was a red?
I think it was a red, but to be honest, do we really care? Scott Brown's done enough forearm smashes and other people and get away with it. So he got a lot of his own medicine back today, and I'm quite happy at that. But the referee, I think, if he did see it, then he should really have given a red, because it wasn't a yellow, it was a red. But I don't really care, to be honest.
Fair enough. Right, guys, the second goal. Now, we've ranted and raved about him all season. Kamara. Now, Brown gave the ball away. There was two bits of outrageous skill for Kamara. He done one boy, and then got the ball back again, and then turned Brown an absolute cracker. Sent him at the stadium. He needed to try to get back in. Pete, how do you feel about Kamara? The more this boy plays, you kind of feel embarrassed that we got him for 50 grand.
Yeah, it's about the biggest robbery since the Great Train Robbery, isn't it? When you think what he does, he's absolutely he's brilliant. His feet are just so quick. He just sort of floats past people and turns. I mean, as you say, turned brown. Brown didn't have a clue what he was doing. But no, he's a steal at 50,000, and his ball retention skills are absolutely fantastic. His first touch is fantastic. The only thing I will say is that sometimes he does pick the wrong decision, and the defence gets into trouble through it as well. So I would say his 95% is great, but there is a 5% danger when he does do things that you can get caught out as well.
Well, I think you get that with any player, though. I mean, no one's perfect. When you consider the financial outlay on the guy, that today, I mean, when the ball came to him, his body shape, it made it look like he was going to pass the ball infield, and Brown's tried to anticipate that and went to cover it, and then just how quickly he's turned and went the other way. I thought it was brilliant, and it wasn't. I mean, I'm not far away from where that happened in the ground. You know what I mean? So it was just, it was brilliant.
But it wasn't just once he'd done it. He was doing it a lot. But
Yeah.
the Celtic players just couldn't get near him to do anything about it.
Oh, it was a touch of class. And then I think the second goal, there was sort of three elements to it. There was the action by Kamara, by doing Brown. David, what about that dummy for Defoe? That was how did he even know that Arfield was there?
Well, they've struck up a bit of a partnership in recent weeks, haven't they, Colin? So, it was one of those ones where, a bit of presence of mind, a wee bit of imagination. If it comes off, it looks fantastic, as it obviously did for the goal. If it doesn't come off, people are going like, "Oh, that was unlucky," and it was maybe just get through, or just didn't get through, or whatever. It was a wee touch of nous for Jermaine, and it was very, very welcome. It was a great goal. The noise when the second goal went in was magic, and obviously the beers on the ground went off their head. It was brilliant.
None more so than the boy Ross behind me, as I told you earlier on. Pete, the finish by Arfield, again, we've spoke about him, but since Morelos went out the side through that suspension, and he's sort of playing this different role. I think overall throughout the whole season, I have to say, up until I would maybe actually say up until the Celtic game in December, I still hadn't been totally convinced on Arfield, but he's grown into the jersey. I think he looks like a proper Rangers player now, in my opinion.
Yeah, the thing with Arfield is that he makes these late runs into the box that other players don't, and that's what makes him so dangerous. He's actually, I hate to mention the guy, but he's actually does what Rogic used to do to us. He's now doing it to Celtic. But thankfully now, Rogic, he seems to be walking with lead boots on there just now. In fact, I would maybe even go as far to say he looks as if he's finished. But that's what Arfield does.
I think it's more some of these boys are now fishing for a move, if you know what I mean.
Do you fish for a
while now?
Do you fish for a move by playing rubbish?
Well, you kind of, you spit the dummy out a wee bit, don't you? I just think players. I think there's a few players in that Celtic team that look like they're kind of ready to move on.
I think a few of them will have to move on. Don't think they'll have much choice in the matter. Well, especially that guy. Sorry, especially that guy Burke. I don't know what he's doing there.
Oh, well, I'd rather they kept as many of them as possible, to be honest with you, Pete.
Oh, so would I. And Lennon as well.
Yeah, I would have that, but I think today's result might have. I suppose if he gets the Scottish Cup, it would maybe swing in his favour. But 2 games against Rangers, and you would have to say that Rangers have outperformed Celtic in both of them. I know Celtic got the win a few weeks ago at Celtic Park, but with 10 men, Rangers dominated them that day. We've dominated them today. I think short-term gain in terms of winning today is good, but the short-term pain the long-term pain could be that they look elsewhere for a manager. But coming back to Arfield, I just think he's, as I said, he looks like a proper Rangers player now. It took him a while, and I was delighted. I couldn't have thought of a player that when Ryan Jack got that goal in the last game, I kind of thought at that time, I can't think of a player that deserves it more. And it felt like that the day when Arfield scored. I think he deserved that goal against Celtic.
The thing with Arfield as well, though, is he's not frightened to go back and mix it as well. I mean, you see him doing tackles at the back, getting in, stopping, and sometimes he swaps with Jack or Davis, and he just gets right in, stuck into the midfield as well. So I mean, he can. There's more to his game than just playing next to the striker.
Yeah, I agree with that. Guys, second half chances, 2-0 up. Again, really dominating the whole thing. Tav had a free kick, he sort of hit it straight at Bain. Defoe had that chance where he had the shot and it came back to him and he had this lovely wee dink and it hit the bar. So, we're running all over the top of them. Obviously, Arfield got man of the match today, but I thought there was 2 or 3 other boys that we could talk about. We've spoken about Kamara. I thought Katic today, David, was outstanding. Now, there was this whole thing with him and Worrell. Worrell came in the team about September time, when I thought Katic was actually playing pretty well. He's came back in the last few weeks and looked solid, and I thought today he won absolutely everything.
Definitely. I think I concur with your sentiments. He's I seem to be talking about Nikola Katic most pods these days, and he was commanding, Colin. Every time the ball goes in the air, you're thinking, right, if he's got a run on this, he's going to win it, and that's what you need. But having said that, I don't think there was a fault throughout the whole team. I thought everybody performed really well. There was odd occasional lapse, but you can expect that in a game of such intensity, regardless of whether Celtic are on the top of their form or not. But I thought all throughout the team, the boys were excellent. Katic, tremendous. John Flanagan, when you're looking for somebody to set the tone, that crunching tackle on Tom Rogic in the first half was poetry in motion in many respects. Connor Goldson again marshalled the back line very, very well. James Tavernier, metronomic, doesn't he stop? He's running all day. Tremendous.
Metronomic. Fancy words and everything.
Metronomic, he doesn't stop. He's constantly moving. He's just the levels of stamina and fitness that boy's got are tremendous. I think more and more Rangers fans are coming into the idea that Tavernier's, starting to look like the real deal. I mean, you said there that Scott Arfield today kind of cemented his place as a real Ranger in your eyes. I think the same can apply to James Tavernier. A lot of people have criticised Tav for not being a vocal captain, but you look at his example. I know sometimes his final ball at the box and his delivery is not as maybe as sharp or as on the button as it was in previous seasons, but I think his defensive work has went up practically vertically. His levels have definitely risen. But Nikola Katic, when you compare how we looked, slightly vulnerable when Joe Worrell was in the team, certainly when the ball's in the air, that vulnerability looks to have gone. I think I seen a stat that said we've shipped 1 goal in 9 games.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I
think we've scored about 13 in that time as well.
That speaks for itself, Colin. You can't buy that. That solidity that we had at the start of the season looks to have come back, and I don't think it's too much a coincidence either that John Flanagan's came back into the team and added to that solidity. I know sometimes he gets caught out. He obviously he gave the ball away quite close to the end of that chance that Burke passed up. But for the most part, looking solid, and the back line's looking pretty good, I would say.
Pete, another one that I thought done very, very well today was Stephen Davis, and kind of following on for what David's just said there. We've been on this tremendous run, and that's 6 wins in a row. And that 6 wins in a row, predominantly against the top 6 sides. Since the split. So to me, it kind of feels like we're hitting that run of form that we wanted to hit after the winter break, but players like Davis and Defoe weren't up to speed. Those 2 guys have now become fairly prominent in the team and quite important members of the team, and it feels like they're getting up to speed and that they're having a big say and why we're playing so well. But Davis today again, I just thought very, very controlled performance. Everything goes through him.
Well, if we'd been playing this way from the beginning of the season, the league would have been done long ago. And I really got to apologise to Davis, because I said he was finished and he wasn't going to produce for Rangers, and I'm afraid I was totally wrong in that, because the guy's come on to some game and it's just a shame he didn't come ready for the job. But I think if we'd him from the summer and he was right up to running speed, then I think the league would have been. I think it would have been a foregone conclusion by Christmas, really.
Well, I mean that's optimistic. It does kind of feel that if we'd have had this run that we're on earlier on in the season, we would have certainly taken it to the wire. I mean we took it to 3 games before the end of the season before Celtic won. You think of the stupid points that we dropped against teams. Well, there was the 3 Hibs games that we always talk about, St Johnstone, Dundee. Those stupid games that we dropped stupid points in. If we'd hit that run, as I said, right after the January break, then who knows where we would have been. It does feel that someone said today that, I think it was Chris Boyd had said on Sky, that when we're looking back in this season retrospectively, we'll be kicking ourselves a wee bit, because it could have been the one where we broke Celtic's attempt to get 9 and even the 10. So hopefully we'll come back stronger next year. But I think Davis and Defoe have done a lot to this side since they've came in. In terms of improving the level of performance and getting us on this consistent run.
But let's face it, this year was a really poor Celtic team. They managed to scrape through in a lot of games, but how many games did they score in the 90th minute? If you take all the games, and I'm going to put the cat amongst the pigeons and ask you, do you think we would have won the league if Katic had kept his place right through the whole season?
I don't think it comes down to Katic. I don't think it's just one element. I just think there's just been various things going on at various times in the season that I think David's got a very good point in terms of, I think Katic attacks the ball, and I think you need that for a centre half. Worrell, no so much. And I'm not having a go at Worrell. I think he's done a decent job for Rangers since he's been in, but I just think, one, Katic is ours. He's our player, and 2, I think he was unlucky to get dropped in the first place. And when he's in the sort of form that he played today, I think he's the better player. So I don't think it's just Katic, Pete. I think there's been a number of things. And Gerrard, I think, I don't think we have the strength and depth. I don't think it's any sort of coincidence that it's been against the lesser teams where we've dropped stupid points. When you're bringing in, your squad players, I think that's where maybe some of the issue lies. The guys that you're bringing in, when you're wanting to leave a couple of your top players out to give them a rest, and you're bringing other guys in to give them a bit of game time, that's when I think we've lacked that wee bit of quality.
But if you look at the likes of Aberdeen, I mean, that's the kind of games Katic would have revelled in, because they're big, strong guys that love to put themselves about, and that's what Katic is about, isn't it?
Yeah. As I said, I thought he was brilliant today, but I don't think if he'd have played all season, we would necessarily be in a better position. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
You can't draw 9 games during a league campaign and expect to win a title.
No, and I think it comes down to, we don't have that strength and depth. I think when we're bringing in our squad players, in the games against Livy and Dundee and all these stupid points, and Johnson at Ibrox, the 3 Hibs games, in a few of those games, Gerrard brought in, your Lafferty's and all that kind of thing, and they just didn't have it. You know what I mean? They just didn't have it, and I think that's where Gerrard will be looking at now. I think he's got a core side there that he thinks these boys can beat anybody on their day, but I need better quality on the fringes of the squad, because you need that to build up a level of consistency, because you're not going to have the same 11 every week. You need
Yeah,
this.
I think there are things, player availability. With the suspensions kicking in due to the indiscipline, that's cost us. That's one of the factors that's cost our season.
I couldn't disagree with that. And on that topic of players getting sent off and stuff, Morelos came on today, David, for the four towards the end of the game. It kind of feels like it was his last game at Ibrox. Is that how it felt for you?
I didn't stay for the fans going around the pitch to thank the players going around the track to thank the fans. I thought when Celtic hung about on the pitch and everyone went off, I thought I was going to be it. As I say, I didn't hang about. So what I've seen in some of the photos online, it looks as if that's possibly him saying his goodbyes, Colin. I don't know. I mean, the latest rumours are that Marseille are weighing up whether they're going to meet Rangers' valuation of him. So it looks as if, in all likelihood, the club are going to cash in and Alfie's going to move on. But we'll need to wait and see.
I might be being a bit overly superstitious here, but when I saw someone tweeting the other day that Marseille are playing us in a friendly in the summer, and I kind of thought, well, as you know how we played Helsinki as part of the Morelos deal, you kind of think, well, is there something in that as well? But that's how it felt to me. I kind of think we've seen the last of him. If that is the case, Pete, would you think Morelos' legacy is? Would you look back on him as a good player for Rangers?
Well, he scored a lot of goals. He's top goal scorer. Yeah, certainly he's been good for Rangers. He's cost us a lot, and just like that, with these sending offs and if he hadn't been sent off and all these things that put together, we really should have been champions this year, and that's one thing I'll always sort of have in the back of my mind. If we had a centre forward that could stay in the park, that might have made the biggest difference to where we ended up. But I certainly, I've enjoyed him being here. For me, I hope he. If we don't get good money for him, if that isn't true, then I hope he stays, because I would hate to think that we would accept 9 or 10 million, which I doubt we will, but I would hate to think that we would accept that. So if it's going to be that kind of money, then I would prefer he stays, because it's difficult to find players that are going to put in 20, 30 goals a season for you.
Well, he's on 29 now, isn't he? So if he gets a goal next week, if he features at all against Kilmarnock and gets a goal, I think he's going to be the first player since Chris Boyd to score 30 goals in a season for Rangers. So in that respect, he's been good. In terms of his temperament and all that sort of stuff, the amount of times he saw red, I thought he was unlucky a few times on when it came to being sent off. But that was undoubtedly an issue, and that sort of overshadowed some of his good work. And he never scored against Celtic. And I think good Rangers strikers scoring against Celtic. So yeah, I'll miss him if that is the case. If he is going, I will miss him. I liked him, but I don't know. I just think we could get better out there. I think
That shot, Colin, sorry, that shot was it last year that it was nearly in the goal line and he hit the post. That's I still get fright when I think of that one.
And that's one that I think he just sort of stuck a toe at it. You know what I mean? He's had a couple of chances against them that he probably should have scored. He missed a header at Celtic Park, which I thought was a shocker. I think he was on the 6-yard box, and everybody ranted and raved about the save for Craig Gordon. I thought, for where he was, he should have been scoring. A wee bit unlucky, and I don't think you can just, write a striker off at Rangers because they didn't score against Celtic. What I'm saying is, big names and big strikers scoring those games, and I think that's something that it's a wee black mark against his career at Rangers that he never managed to do that, I think. But that said, I think he done a good job for Rangers, and I'll certainly miss him. Try to wrap up the game now, guys, because I'm conscious of time, and we've got a couple other things to discuss before the hour's up. I mean, Celtic had a couple of chances towards the end. Well, one main one we spoke about earlier on. Flanagan sort of gave possession away. Cattage got caught on the wrong side of Edouard, and Ollie Burke really should have scored. 83 minutes, and that was our first shot and goal. That gives you a sort of idea of how dominant we were the day. Bring on Ross McCrory, as I said, our best goalkeeper, and played him in midfield. Said this earlier on, guys. The issue with Lennon, David, I'll come to you in this one. If he doesn't get that job permanently, that I want him to get it. You know what I mean? As I said, is it a bit of short-term gain for long-term possible pain if they go elsewhere for a manager?
Probably. I think most Rangers fans would like to see Neil Lennon get the job, because there seems to be the kind of consensus amongst the support, if you can read into the kind of online feeling, would be that tactically Neil Lennon can be beaten by Steven Gerrard. I think more. I put it this way. I think it's safe to say that when it comes to coaching and being a tactician, I think Brendan Rodgers trumps Neil Lennon. So I think the fact that Brendan's so fit to jump ship and get into Leicester, I think that's a bonus. If Neil Lennon gets the job, would they make Rangers' job easier? Perhaps. Are they going to flex their alleged financial muscle in a close season with whoever they appoint, whether it's Mr. Lennon or someone else? That remains to be seen. But when you boil it all down, Colin, it's about what we do. You mentioned Glenn Kamara there at 50k. I think Rangers have been pretty adept at picking up guys for relatively little outlay. I mean, they've got Ryan Jacklin, a Bosman, tidy bit of business. They've got Scott Arfield and a Bosman, tidy bit of business. They've got Stephen Davis. I don't know, it was an undisclosed fee. That's pretty good business. Alan McGregor came up the road. Didn't cost much in a transfer fee, I don't think. Same with John Flanagan. So, even, the kind of elephant in the room, Alfredo Morelos, picking him up for £1 million. If we can be shrewd in the transfer market, the guys have a season to get their feet under the table, assess the environment that they're working in. They've obviously been scouting players in the Scottish League, so fit to sign up a couple of guys. I think it's all about what we do. If you seen to me anyway, you seen tactically the day that Gerrard's learned. He's matured over the season, and whether you include Mick Beale in that, and Tommy Culshaw and Gary McAllister for that matter, is down to your own personal opinion, I guess. But they've definitely improved and they've evolved over the course of the season. So if we can take that improvement going forward into next season, then I would say, unless Peter Lawwell and Dermot Desmond pull a managerial rabbit out of the hat, then I think we can be confident if we make good signings and we stay clear of serious injury. I mean, don't forget, we've got Jimmy Murphy to come back, who will be a worthwhile squad member in the squad next season. I think it's looking good for next season, and I'm not getting carried away on the back of 6 consecutive victories. I think there's enough signs of encouraging signs for next season, allied to good recruitment. I think we could be in business next season.
Well, one good sign today was the first time that we'd beaten Celtic back-to-back at Ibrox in 7 years. So there are all these wee things. We spoke about this on the preview show on Thursday. Things like getting into the Europa League. We were top of the league a couple of times this season, but we're getting closer to Celtic. We're matching them. I think there was a stat doing the rounds today that the aggregate score between Rangers and Celtic last year was something like 13-2 or something like that in favour of Celtic. This year Rangers have won it 4-3. We've scored 4 goals. They've scored 3. So there are wee signs that we're getting closer. I know a lot of Celtic fans sort of rubbish all this, but I certainly think there's a a lot to be optimistic for next season, and here's hoping. Right, guys, we'll wrap that up. We'll quickly got another wee couple of topics just to cover in the last sort of 10 minutes. I think we've done the game to death now. Could go on about it for another hour, just celebrating, but need to move on. There was one sort of downside to today's game, guys. There was the whole sort of sectarianism thing again. Now I'm not going to sit here and try and defend the songs that were sung today. The thing with the Neil Lennon one that really bothered me was, I think we were 2-0 up at the time, and we hadn't even acknowledged the guy's existence, which is how I would rather it was, to be honest with you. And then this song just came out the blue, and I said to the guy that sits in front of me, I says, "There's your headlines. That's it. That's just the BBC, the Herald, the Record. That's all they're going to jump on." And your usual suspects jumped on it. Spears is all over it on Twitter. Tom English is all over it on Twitter. Michael Stewart all over it on Twitter. Now, not in any way trying to defend the sort of the choice of hymns, shall we say, but Pete, the selective nature, again, it comes down to this, the sort of fairness in reporting, the selective nature of when people are offended and aren't offended. That's really starting to piss me off a bit. How do you feel about that whole thing?
Well, yeah, there used to be the old saying, "Sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me." And yeah, these things, they just used to be part of everyday sort of a football life, didn't they? I mean, today, I don't know. I didn't see English or anything like that. I didn't see Sports Scene or anything like that. But there was Celtic supporters attacked the wee Rangers club last night. Did they mention anything about that in Sports Scene or any of the papers?
No, not that I'm aware of. I was aware of that. I saw that on social media today. The incident at the wee Rangers club last night, and then again, that's kind of what I'm talking about. And after the last Old Firm game at Celtic Park, the pub just outside Central Station, the Toby Jug, that got its windows put in for the Green Brigade, and so again, it's this sort of selective nature of what they're picking up on and what they're not picking. I'm in no way defending, the choice of songs. I know it's a complex issue and all the rest of it, but the thing that always gets me, if it's going to provoke negative headlines for your club, why would you do it?
I don't
You
know.
know what I mean?
When I was listening on the TV, I didn't hear the Billy Boys. I didn't hear the full verse. I just heard them singing "Hello, Hello" and the first line or two, and then they seem to stop when it gets to the bit that's not allowed. But obviously, I'm not in the ground, so I don't hear that, and I don't know whether Rangers TV or BT, because I've watched sort of both of them, whether they'd done anything to dampen the noise. But I didn't hear the sort of a full version of it. And the Lennon one, I don't know. I didn't hear that at all. I heard them singing a song that the Celtic supporters sing, which that wee boy sung in the paper on Twitter during the week.
Yeah.
Rangers had a sort of the same tune to that. I don't know what the song was, but I heard that song, but it obviously wasn't the Celtic version of it.
No. What about you, David? The selective nature of people being offended by this, especially sort of prominent, members of the media. It's something that really grates for me. How does it sit with you?
I'm with you. I'm no different. The selectarianism industry is rife in this country. I've got to say though, I'm with you. I concur wholeheartedly with you. When the Neil Lennon ditty went round the stand, or a couple of stands, it wasn't so much round about where I sit. I don't know about how you felt when it was being sung, but the support in some respects don't do themselves any favours. And I can see why, there's that element of defiance. But hypothetically, you could, let's say that the Rangers support was whiter than white. Let's say anything that could be deemed to be obnoxious football fan, loutish football fan behaviour was to be totally eradicated for the support, home and away. People like Graham Spears and Tom English and to an extent Michael Stewart, they'd find another stick to beat us with. So maybe that informs the kind of defiant nature of the songbook from time to time. But I'm a you and countless thousands of Rangers supporters who are irked by, as I've used this phrase umpteen times in the pod. There's just not a lack of there's no parity of esteem where Rangers supporters are concerned with certainly with regards to Celtic supporters. It's a one-way street. Obviously, they came in, funneled into their wee corner the day, and their romantic, in inverted commas, songbook started up before the kick-off, and you'll not hear anything about that. That doesn't fit with the kind of agenda and what we see with regards to certain social commentators that push this agenda, whether it be in the printed media or the television media.
I must admit, though, why do we still need to sing about Bobby Sands that died years ago? Why do we need to bring songs like that in? Why are we singing about the IRA? Why are we giving them that time?
Yeah,
why are we not just singing Rangers songs?
Yeah, that's kind of. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an angel and all the rest of it. I've sung some of these songs in the past and in my younger days and all the rest of it. But as you get a wee bit older and a wee bit wiser and all the rest of it, and I have to say they're no really for me, right? It's not my thing. As I said earlier on, my biggest thing with it is it's going to provoke negative headlines for your club. It's going to give these people that hate Rangers ammunition. Why would you do it? That's the mentality I can't get my head around. See, if we stop doing it tomorrow, I don't think that shower across the road would. They seem to think that their songs are not offensive. They're singing, political rebel songs. Are not sectarian and all that kind of nonsense. And to me, that's why they get away with it more than we do. But
we'll see if Minister wades in, Colin. We'll see if she wades in on the back of the song of the day.
There's a constitutional thing going on in the background which doesn't help matters. But I still don't understand that mentality. You know what I mean? Neil Lennon was irrelevant today. You know what I mean? His team got pumped. He didn't have anything to offer. He was sitting there on that bench, clueless in terms of how to get his team back into the game, and then we hand him a get out of jail free card.
Exactly, take the pressure right off him, and the supporters need to look at themselves, regardless of whether it's it's high spirits and because we're winning and all that. Some of the fans need to take a second to think, what's the repercussions of my actions here?
Yeah.
That's my opinion. A lot of Rangers fans will probably think, he's Rangers dad and all that, but you can't. You've got to help yourself before you can even fight.
I think as a support, we have to take responsibility for some of the stuff that some of the fans are singing and all the rest of it. That said, the selective nature of how things are getting reported is a big issue, and in my opinion, is maybe fanning the flames a wee bit. If it's not getting reported properly, some fans will think, well, you know what, in for a penny, in for a pound. If we're going to get hung out to dry anyway, we might as well get hung out to dry for something legitimate. So there's an element of that about it, but I just find it frustrating. However, right, we'll try and move on for the last sort of couple of minutes of the show. That's us just about done an hour. Try and pick things up, pick the tone up again. David, last game of the season next week at Kilmarnock. Surely the main objective is, to finish the post-split fixtures with a 100% win record. We've been on such good form. Finish the season on a high. Yeah?
I would say so. There seems to be a school of thought that we want to do Kilmarnock a favour to keep Aberdeen out of Europe, but no, I would, let's try finish the season on a high. Finish it with a post-split 100% record. Is there an opportunity to give a couple of the younger guys a debut? Possibly. whether the plastic surface at Rugby Park might inform the manager's selection, I don't know. But I would like, we all come on at doing anyway. So other than the cup quarter final, I think we cup last six.
Semi-final.
We're due to give them a tanking in the league. So I'd rather it was next week to spoil their
150th.
Their 150th anniversary celebrations that's supposedly going to fill Rugby Park.
Aye, well, we'll see how that goes. You never know. They might do it. I mean, there's enough hatred out there for Rangers, so you never know. Pete, I'll give the last word of the pod to you tonight. This momentum that we've built up, how important is it that we, go away in the summer, rest and recharge the batteries? But how important is it that we come back with that same momentum and get off to a really good start next season?
Very important. I think today's result gets us really on a high. I think if we can finish next week on a high, everybody goes happy on their summer holidays. And I think that's very important. Would I put in young players? No, I wouldn't. If young players are going to come in, then they train with the new season. And then if they're good enough, they stay in the squad for next year. But I would just finish on a high, go away with that feel-good feeling. And we won today, so I'm happy.
Yeah, and that's the note we'll finish on. We won the day, and it was fucking fantastic.
We had joy, we had fun, we had beating Celtic in the sun.
Right, guys, thanks for that. Right, folks, that's all on this week's Gersnet Weekly Podcast. Thanks for listening in. A big thanks to David and Pete for their contributions. Next week, obviously, it's the last game of the season against Kilmarnock. There will be a show out on Sunday night. We'll be live again next Sunday night. I believe I'm hosting. In the meantime, get yourself onto the Gersnet forums at www.gersnet.co.uk. Lots of stuff on there, articles, opinion pieces, and of course the forums. Get on and talk about Rangers with other fellow-minded supporters. Listen, Bears, we've had a great day. Have a gay week. A gay week. Have a great week. Get it right up them in all your workplaces. And until next Sunday, bye for now.